What's up, you all? Welcome back to another fun-filled show. I'm your host, T.S. Blanchard, aka Free Blanche, aka Blanchard Damas, aka Blanchy Kruger. Today's title is The Victim or the Villain. Um, I've been thinking a lot these past few days, and I've really been, trying to work on myself and, putting myself on a 6-month plan to be where I want to be in life. um, Not gonna say it's easy. It's very challenging. Breaking old habits, changing your mindset, thought process, everything. It's some work, but no excuses. And I realize that no excuses goes a long way. But anyway, I have a question. Um, my question is, when is it okay for a person to criticize Israel? I have a two-part question. When is it okay for a person to criticize Israel? And when I say okay, I mean, okay, you criticizing Israel doesn't make you anti-Semitic in this sense. That's my first question. When is it okay to criticize Israel? When can I criticize Israel and not be labeled as anti-Semitic? And I'm asking this question for a reason. And then my second question is, when is it not Israel? Meaning, when does something happen and it's not related to Jews or Israel? That's my second question. When does something happen in the world and it's not actually the Jews and Israel? So, what I believe is that the major problem I see, and I've watched a lot of debates on this subject, and I've said this before, that I see people that are pro-Israel win the debate, and I see people that are against Israel win the debate. I've seen debates won on both sides. It's not just this unanimous, one side is right, one side is wrong. It's not. Um, but the one thing, I've noticed a few things in these debates. I've noticed that it's always a debate. It's never a conversation. It's never a discussion. It's two people or peoples coming together to say, I'm right, or to say, you're wrong. But it's never actually a discussion or a conversation. The second thing I've noticed is when there's a person that is Jewish and they are arguing with somebody that's Jewish about Israel, meaning there's a pro Jewish person and there's an against Jewish person. I don't want to say anti, but an against Jewish person, and they're arguing, they never use the term anti Semitic. But when the person is not Jewish and the person they're arguing with is Jewish, they're going to use anti Semitic. Or when the persons are both not Jewish and arguing, they're going to use the term anti Semitic. Now, does my observation mean that I hate Jewish people? And does my observation mean that I'm blaming Jews for what's wrong with the world? Or is my observation just simply an observation? And again, my original question is, when is it okay to critique, criticize Israel? My second question is, when is it not Israel? Meaning when something happened, when is Israel not responsible? And again, I ask these questions because I believe the problem is that it's always a debate. And when it's a debate, nobody wants to be wrong. This is the problem. When it's a debate, nobody wants to concede. So even if a good point is made on either side is reluctant to say you're right because they feel like they're going to lose the argument. When in actuality, we can all agree that any government made up of human beings who are inherently flawed, any government is going to be flawed. We can look at any government and we're going to find some level of corruption. This is not just with Israel, this is with any government. If we really look at these governments, we probably find a lot of corruption. But most folks overlook the corruption because their lives are either too bad to care about it or too good to care about it. But to say that any government is without flaw, to me is very disingenuous. You see, we can get a lot accomplished, and I look back at the days when they were pushing so much race propaganda, like back in the 60s. People would sit down from all different walks of life, different political views, different religions, but they were able to sit down and have civil discussions about things they disagreed with. They would even go for beers afterwards. But now it seems like everybody is wearing their political ideology and what they believe on their sleeve. Like, I don't understand how we got here. I don't understand how we got to where we can't have a discussion about something we disagree about. You will never find 100% of the people to agree with anything. Just like you will never find 100% of people to disagree with everything. You can think about the most outlandish thing and people are still going to agree with it. You can think about the most logical thing and folks are still going to disagree with it. But to me, the biggest problem is, in my opinion, is that we can't have a conversation. And the problem is that on one side, if I even attempt to critique Israel, I'm labeled anti-Semitic. This is what happens. If I say I don't agree with this, I'm labeled anti-Semitic. But if I say I don't agree with anything else in the world, I don't have any labels. So there is a double standard when it comes to talking about Israel. Does that mean I hate Israel? Does that mean I want the state of Israel to not exist? Does that mean I hate Jews? Or does it mean I recognize that there are double standards when it comes to Israel? Just like there are double standards when it comes to conspiracy theories. Because conspiracy theorists believe that every conspiracy is true. Conspiracy theorists believe that every conspiracy is true. And I keep telling people, there are people probably sitting in a lab somewhere making up conspiracy just to get your mind all distracted and rattled. So what I'm saying is that in my observation, I've seen people that are wrong on both sides, and I've seen people that are right on both sides. Meaning that this debate, this conversation, this discussion isn't going anywhere. The only way to solve this problem, if it's a problem, is to either A, allow people to continue to have open discussion until they get numb to it and used to it, or to say that you can't do this. You can't talk about this. Two options, that's it. Either freedom of speech or take away freedom of speech. That's it. There's no other solution. Either people get used to it or you say they can't do it. It's funny that when we look at comedy, you watch comedy back 20, 30 years ago, and everybody always says, you can't say that now. Why not? You look back at comedy 20, 30 years ago, and you can't say that now. Why not? Because somebody said that was offensive. And it used to be a point in time where comedy was off limits. But now comedy is even offensive. So we created a climate that says if people are offended by something, then it must be wrong. In other words, nobody can talk. Paul said that goes for Christians too. Of course. Of course. You have Christians running around making up their own religion. You have people, Christians running around misinterpreting the Bible or picking out their own pieces. You got Christians running around doing all kind of crazy stuff. But at the end of the day, everybody has fallen short. All have sinned and fallen short of God's glory. So there's no such thing where it's just one group of people that are bad. Everybody is in the fallen state of man. Everybody. There's nobody running around here that's not in the fallen state. We all are. This is why everybody needs Christ, which is the only solution. The only solution is Jesus, because everybody is fallen. So on one hand, the same thing that people accuse the Jews of doing, everybody does. And then on the other hand, the thing that the Jews accuse people of doing, everybody does. Because man's in a fallen state. And I believe that if we can have more conversations that are honest, and we can have more honest conversations, not debates, just honest conversations, I guarantee things would change. Now, we all know that globalization is the goal. So we know that all of these governments are going to come together. We know this. There's going to be a one world government, whether voluntary or forced. And we already seen a one world government during COVID. Because during COVID, all of these so-called governments came together. We had world peace under the guise of a Peter pandemic. World peace. Everybody got along. The Peter pandemic came out and everybody agreed with everybody else on the planet. Ain't that crazy? How we got world peace out of something demonic and satanic. And then the shots came out. And then when the shots came out, it was even more unity. So we saw the entire planet come together over a man-made Peter pandemic and a satanic created mRNA technology. That was a precursor to the Antichrist. Because when the Antichrist comes, he's going to bring peace. So that means the world is going to be in turmoil, or maybe the threat of turmoil, but he's going to bring peace. So the world's going to come together again under the guise of the Antichrist. It's going to be the same thing with climate change. I'm very pro free speech. And I am because it's necessary. Because taking away free speech only affirms what people think. If they think something is wrong and you take away their right to say that it's wrong, it only confirms what they're saying. Free speech is necessary because, in my opinion, free speech is what keeps people calm. The fact that they get to voice how they feel. And let me say this. Conspiracy theories didn't come out of nowhere. Conspiracy theories came because the government, the media, and the powers that be lied. Just that simple. There was a time in history where we took everything the government said at face value. everything the media said at face value. Everything that anybody with a position said at face value. But come to find out, they took that honor system and they destroyed it. Even today, most people take what the media says at face value. Even today, most people take what their government says at face value. But that number is shrinking. But that's where conspiracy theories came from. Conspiracy theories didn't start with Jewish people. Conspiracy theories didn't start with aliens. It didn't start with the Vatican or the Pope. Conspiracy theory started when people found out that the governments, the media, the powers that be were lying. Top Herc said conspiracy theory is used to grade the truth. I would even say that the conspiracy theories were created because they weren't telling the truth. Because once you lie to a person, they're trying to figure out why you lied. What are you hiding? I love watching interrogations because there's always a question, a thesis question in the interrogation. The question is, why did you do it? That's what they want to know. Everything else is a formality. Where were you? What'd you do? What's your routine? When you talk, why did you do it? Because human nature is to get closure. That is a part of human nature. So when we look out on this world and something doesn't make sense, it's our nature to want it to make sense. We want it, we say, okay, we're looking at this. Why did this happen? That's human nature. That's never going away. Never. It's never going away. Human beings will always want to know what really happened and why. Now, many people might see the truth and then reject it. Because with the truth comes responsibility. Because once you know, you can no longer say you don't know. You can't plead ignorance. So my thoughts on this Israel matter is that we are having debates constantly, but we aren't having discussions. We're not having conversations. And because we're coming to the table with our minds already made up, neither side is hearing neither side. Nothing's going to get accomplished. This is not going to stop. Now, I've said things about October the 7th, 2023, and I did a video about it. But it's funny, when I talked about October the 7th on 2023, nobody had a problem with it. You know why? Because the media propaganda machine hadn't worked itself up yet. Now, if I say the same thing that I said when it happened, now I'm anti-Semitic. But I wasn't anti-Semitic when I said it 2 years ago. I did a video. And I went through all of the media companies. And I got to the top 5. The top 5 media companies that run the entire planet when it comes to media. 4.5 of the CEOs are Jewish. Does that mean that the Jews run the world? Does that mean that the Jews are the cause of everybody's problems? Does that mean I'm anti-Semitic? Just because something is true doesn't mean that it affirms a conspiracy theory. It doesn't mean because this is true that this is also true. It doesn't mean that because we have Islamic extremists that all people that are followers of Islam are extremists. And social media makes it very easy for us to shoot to the extreme of everything. In a normal time period, we would never see 90% of the stuff that we saw. Most of our information would come from back in the day, either television, radio, or people that we encountered. But now we have social media, we can see a million different opinions, a million different breakdowns, a million different viewpoints. But again, something being true doesn't affirm the bad. This is what I mean by an honest conversation. Everything that happens in the world isn't linked to Jewish people. Now, if you ask me, are these governments, these global governments working together? I believe they are. If you ask me, you say, Blanche, how do you feel about wars? I don't believe any of this stuff is organic. I don't believe none of this stuff is organic. I believe that Satan deals with illusions. And so we make the illusion a reality. I don't believe any of this stuff is organic that we see on the main stage. I don't. But that doesn't mean that I think that the Jews are responsible for everything. Are there Jewish people that are a part of the destruction of the world? Yes, there are. Are there Chinese people? Yes, there are. Are there American people? Yes, there are. Are there Africans? Yes. So again, just because we admit something doesn't mean it affirms the worst possible scenario. And like I said, we need to have discussions, not debates. You're never going to get anywhere. We got social media. We have a discredited legacy media. We've been lied to. We've uncovered lies. Honestly, let me be honest with you. Since 2020, I don't believe none of it. Like since 2020, I don't believe any of it. But I do believe in free speech. And I do believe a person being allowed to criticize something without being condemned. Back in 2021, my job fired me. Video engineer, working for a major studio, making great money, living my best life. And they fired me because I didn't want to put the devil's cocktail in my body. Now, as upset as I was, and as wrong as I think it was, my job still had the right to do it. It's a private company. I'm in an at-will state of Georgia, so they had the right to do it. As mad as I was, upset as I was, and as wrong as I thought it was, they still had the right to let me go. And you know what? I honor them having that right because I believe in freedom. So the same way I would not be upset at my job for firing me unjustly, in my opinion, is the same way someone should be able to have an opinion about Israel that folks don't agree with or that folks do agree with. We cannot paint this thing with a broad brush and say it's all or nothing. If you critique or criticize the Israeli government, then you automatically support Hamas. It's not how that works. That's not how that works. Or if I reject Hamas, I automatically support Israel. That's not how that works. This is a very nuanced conversation, and it goes way beyond somebody just hating Jewish people. In my opinion, most people don't outright hate. There are a small percentage of the populations of each group of people that actually hate other people. That's a very small percentage. If you ask anybody why they dislike somebody else, I guarantee they're going to list some things that they believe that person did. I guarantee it. They're going to list what they believe that person did. So when it comes to racism, you rarely hear somebody say, I just don't like them because they're Black. They usually say, I don't like them because of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and when Black folks all the way down to Z. So again, I think we should have more conversations and more discussions. I'm not anti-Islam, but I am anti-Islam ruling over me. I'm not against the Muslims, but I'm against the Muslims ruling over me. You know, I'm really against anybody that's governing over me that's not Christ-centered, if I can be honest. That goes for the Israel, the Muslims, it don't matter. China, Buddha, it don't matter. Even as jolly and happy as Buddha is, I don't want to be up under Buddha rule. I don't. But I still believe in freedom. I still believe in freedom. And I still believe it's a setup. And you can call me a conspiracy theorist. You can say, Blanche, you tripping. I believe it's all a setup. I believe everything is pushing us towards the Antichrist. Because it makes no sense to me for us to have been fighting a war against terrorism for 24 years. And the end result is that all these folks are coming over to America, taking over. It doesn't make any sense. The government isn't stupid. So I come to one conclusion, that it's being done on purpose. That's my conclusion. All these folks are in cahoots. So I'm not going to sit here and try to sift through who's doing this and who's doing that. I'm going to just say that anybody can be used by Satan. Anybody. Anybody. Yes. I love everybody, but I do not want to live under everybody's rule. As for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. That's where I stand on that. So my concern is believers and then salvation for those that don't believe. That's my concern. Outside of that, I'm not really concerned because the devil's going to do. The devil is going to do what he's going to do. The goal is to try to keep as many souls from Satan as possible. That's the ultimate goal. And so I believe in free speech. So Blanche, do you agree with people being fired for speaking negatively about Charlie Kirk? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't. I don't. If I thought it was wrong when it happened to conservatives, then I'm gonna think it's wrong when it happens to libtards. Because people should have a right to say what they want to say. You see, I don't fall into this fear mongering where they make you believe that somebody saying something is going to turn somebody into a robot. I don't believe that all of these people that are radical and crashing out are doing it because they got hypnotized. You know what's right and you know what's wrong. You chose to watch it. You chose to listen to it. You chose to do it. Today's title is The Victim or the Villain. A lot of times people are the villain posing as the victim. So no, I don't agree with it. People should not be fired for talking about Charlie Kirk. I don't agree with it, but they shouldn't be fired for it. Just like me, right? I don't trust Benjamin Netanyahu. I don't trust him. There's something about him. I feel like when he's speaking with a forked tongue. I do. I've never actually listened to the man talk and thought, never. I've never trusted him. But it's not because he's Jewish. That's the thing. It's not because he's Jewish. I don't trust Ben Shapiro, but it's not because he's Jewish. It's not because he's Jewish. I don't trust Nick Fuentes. I don't trust Candace Owens. I don't trust folks in my family. So again, we have to be allowed to disagree and dislike and critique and criticize without being condemned. So both sides of the aisle, pro-Israel, not pro-Israel, both sides of the aisle are doing the same thing. Both sides. Both sides. You got folks that grift to go against Israel, and you got folks that grift to be pro-Israel. It's the nature of the beast. You got folks that are cape for Israel for a check, and you got folks that go against Israel for a check. If you ask me, most of the people don't believe in what they're doing. If you ask me, most people in the world lack true conviction, if you ask me. I'm not going to read that. Gio said it's definitely because they're Jewish. That's funny. That's funny. I saw a video, and I wish I brought it on here, but it's a guy in a grocery store, and he has a petition. He's dressed up like a priest, and he has a petition, and he's asking Jewish people, do they want to sign a petition to apologize for killing Jesus? And it's actually hilarious because he's in an actual Jewish market talking to the Jewish guy, and it's just hilarious. But the problem is that 20 years ago, it would have just been a funny skit. But now that same skit, it puts you on one side or the other. It's crazy. 20 years ago, it just would have been a funny skit. But now it's all this other stuff. It's all this other stuff added to it. It's crazy. My internet is slow. It's glitching. Is it still slow? The audio is glitching. How does it sound now? It's breaking up. Video's freezing up. Oh my goodness. I mean, I was talking about Israel. My bad. Listen. I love Israel. I love Benjamin Netanyahu. I love the Israeli government. I love the Israeli people. If I could, I would be Jewish. I love them. I stand with Israel. Did it work? Did it get fixed? Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can. It's saying it's connected. It's saying it's connected. Is it still moving slow? Is it good? Is it good now? It's lagging bad. Did it work? Did it work? Did it still choppy? I may have to close it out. Y'all let me know if it's good or not. Because I'm trying to, because I got my, I wonder if I get off my Wi-Fi, will it? It's still choppy, it's still laggy. Okay, let me see if I can look at my network. Let me see if I can get on my Ethernet. I'm gonna see if I can do my Ethernet. Man, y'all giving me talk about start sucking and jiving. um, I got my Ethernet plugged up, but I don't know why it's not letting my Ethernet make active. Okay, I want to make my Ethernet active. Maybe I can. Okay, let me try this. Let me try. Okay, I'm back now. What happened? What happened? Am I good now? No, there's no storm passing through. Is it good now? I'm wasting my whole show talking about it. Y'all say it's the same. You think it's YouTube? I don't even want to ruin my show, man, because I really want to. Let me see. Man, listen, man, my Wi-Fi is up and running, man. So yeah, man, my wife, listen, y'all talking about I got Boost Mobile. My Wi-Fi is good. It ain't me. I'm looking. So is it still choppy? Because if it's YouTube, I don't know if I should just stop. So y'all type in the chats, all good stuff. Type good stuff. I like lots and bagels. Shalom. I want my son to have a bar mitzvah. I love the unleavened bread. I'm sure. I'm joking. I love my liberal professor. Okay, so I guess I need to pray. Somebody said AOC is the wisest woman I ever met. Beauty for Ashes said this is hateful. See, you can't even joke. See what I mean? You can't even joke. You can't even joke. So I guess what I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna try to, I guess, close this out and then Black Power. I love Black Lives Matter. Biden was the best president ever. Trans women are women. Dang, it worked. Dang, it worked. Oh, shoot. See, y'all thought it was the Jews. And see what got y'all see what got it right? I yelled out Black Power and it got back. See, y'all thought it was the Jews. Told y'all it was the Bliggities. I told y'all it was the Bliggities. I told y'all. I yelled out Black Power and that thing got right. Thank you. Somebody said men can give birth, blacks built the country. All right, let's get into it. Hopefully it's good now. I told y'all thought it was the Jews, and I told y'all it was the Bliggities. I've been telling y'all. I told y'all. Every time my account got shut down, it was because I was talking about the Bliggities or I was talking about them shots. But most of the time, talking about them Bliggities. But let's continue. So in the spirit of Israel, I got a clip.
I want to show you guys.
What happened?
Look at my tie.
Right. It ain't the jiggities, it's the Bliggities. Oh my goodness. Listen, you can't ask for more better timing. Let's go.
1 second. I want to show you guys.
What happened?
Look at my tire right here.
Oh boy.
Huge width. You know, it's so sad that this could have been an accident, but the first thing that comes to my mind is if this was an anti-Semitic act, if somebody knew my beard, my yarmulke, and said, let me do that to this guy.
It looks like it was placed there perfectly.
But it's like the inside of the tire. But it's so sad that even that has to go through my mind today. Nation, no people, no one should ever have to have that percolating. Is somebody attacking me for who I am? My race, religion? Are they? But the Jewish people today have that. This must stop.
This video stuck out to me really, not because the guy is Jewish, but because, and I spoke about this at Molly's farm and slash ranch. I remember there was like 4 weeks in a row where I got a nail in my tire. 4 weeks. First week, you don't think about it. Second week, I'm like, okay, it's kind of. Third week, I'm like, okay, somebody's doing this on purpose. So I'm looking where I'm parking. I'm looking. I'm like, no. I'm looking. I'm like, okay, I'm parking over here. I'm basically becoming paranoid because it was 3 nails in my tire. Then it was a 4th nail. So 4 weeks straight of nails in my tire. And I'm thinking in my mind, okay, who could it be? Now, I don't have the luxury of saying that because I'm Jewish, it was anti-Semitism. So I was just saying, okay, maybe it's somebody that doesn't like my content. Maybe it's just a hater. In my mind, I envisioned a black person doing it. I don't know, but something dawned on me. And something said, who's driving the car? And you know who's driving the car? Me. So I'm driving the car. And so I'm thinking to myself, maybe I'm driving in places that have nails on the ground. Maybe I'm cutting across these parking lots, going behind these buildings. Maybe I'm doing this stuff. And I'm, once that tire hits a nail or something, it's going to pick it up. It's going in your tire. Now, he's thinking that somebody put that nail in his tire, but that's not what happens. When you roll over or even buy a nail, it's going to kick that nail up into your tire. It's just going to happen. But the same way that he thought it was something, I thought it was something too, until I realized, you know what? I'm the one driving the car. So the person probably most responsible for the nail in my tire or several nails in my tire are me. So you know what I stopped doing? I stopped cutting across here. I stopped riding on the shoulder to get around. I stopped doing certain things. And guess what? No more nails in my tire. So this video right here really touched home because it happened to me. And the only reason that I thought it wasn't me at first was because I was being a victim. And when you are a victim, you will turn to Satan. Because being a victim leaves you powerless. This for anybody. Today's title is The Victim or the Villain. If you are a victim, you are going to turn to Satan. Nikki said it best last week or last live. She said that God did not allow you to be a victim. So that means you're not going to turn to God because God won't have any excuses for you. He's going to tell you to have faith. So if God's going to tell you to have faith, you want to be a victim, you're going to go to Satan. Satan going to say, come here. Come here. I know exactly how you feel. He did me the same way. A victim of what or who? Most of the times, a victim of ourselves. Most of the time. But let's continue.
Let's be for real. White America loved Charlie Kirk only because he attempted to revoke Negro America's victim card. That's it. And the reason why they shadow ban a lot of us is because we were already attempting to revoke Black America's or Negro America's victim card. We were already doing that. We were going against Martin Luther King. You're going to try to tell me this college dropout all of a sudden pops out of nowhere and starts going at Negro America with all these specific truths to make you think you hate him, but when you listen to him more, you be like, oh, maybe he was right. So a lot of Democrats or Negro Democrats started switching over to a conservative side because they did the research themselves and found out he was right. But if they actually did the research only by themselves, they would have come to the same conclusion. I don't know what it is, but I think Negroes and people in general love to be ruled over, love to be fooled by vain deceit and philosophy of others who did not earn their position.
Now, if you ask me why Larry Johnson is saying this, in my opinion, I think he's jealous. I think a lot of black men are jealous that a white man in Charlie Kirk is getting revered because black people have not been accustomed to seeing white people be revered in a long time. They can accept Donald Trump because he's the president, but they can't accept anything else. They'll tolerate Donald Trump because they're afraid of him, but they won't accept anybody else. And so to me, a lot of these black men giving commentary on Charlie Kirk are jealous because they want to be revered like Charlie Kirk. They want to be seen as a God-fearing man. They want to be seen as righteous. They want to see it. Larry Johnson is on here. He's very big in gematria. Matter of fact, he did a video, and behind him in the video, it was Charlie Kirk getting shot in the neck over and over and over again. He's just playing it behind him while he was talking. I'm like, dude, you're crazy. But judging by the amount of oil, the amount of shea butter on his chest, judging by his shirt being unbuttoned, judging by he got that hair replacement, he got them hair things in his head, them hair club in his head. Judging by all of this, is that Larry Johnson wants to be seen, he wants to be heard. That's all. He wants to be seen, he wants to be heard. Nothing he says edifies the kingdom. Nothing. He's a Hebrew Israelite. And when I say light, not heavy, he's a Hebrew Israelite. He ain't like the Hebrew Israelites, but he's a Hebrew Israelite.
Organically. So in revoking, or the attempt of revoking Negro America's victim cards, white America wants a victim card on their own. They want to be oppressed. How do they want to be oppressed? Now all of a sudden, anytime you mention LGBTQ or drag queen library reading or any type of perversion that their race has instituted in this country, they are now oppressed. They are oppressed by sexuality now. The sexualities and perversions that they introduced into mainstream, now they feel so oppressed. That's why they want Negro America's victim card revoked so bad, so they can have a victim card. The victim card they want, which is not earned because it's their fault that all this perversion takes place on the field, takes place on court, takes place in classrooms, and takes place on Hollywood or in TV screens. The reason why white folk and white America love them so much too, is because they can't say the same things that he can say without getting a foot in their mouth or a fist in their mouth or losing their job. And white folk ain't doing any type of protesting, any type of online disputes if their financial security is threatened. White folk are not giving up their cushy jobs so they can sound like Charlie Kirk. White folk ain't going online trying to debate Negroes or any masonically set up debate to debate other races. They're not doing that because they know they have to go back to work. They know they have to look other people, especially other Negroes, in their faces because of what they said. Let's keep that real. That's the real reason why they loved him so much. And if they actually were smart enough, they would understand the reason why he was placed there, and the reason why they had some of our words going in his mouth is because they wanted to control the conversation. They wanted to exalt and uplift this man as being some holier than thou Christian. So then they can bring in what Albert Pike said was going to happen, script by script by script. He said anybody disillusioned with Christianity will accept the beast system, especially when this economy goes into the trash. And all you gotta do is threaten white Christians, financial or home security, and everything will fall into place.
What I find interesting is all you have to do is threaten anybody's livelihood and they're gonna fall into place. Look at what he's doing. He's telling you that white people aren't brave enough to lose everything they own like black people are. Look how Look what he's basically telling you, that white people aren't willing to put their necks on the line as if other groups of people are. Nobody is. Nobody wants to lose everything they got. Are you crazy? Why would this man come on this live with his chest out? Why would he go and put that tiara, said he got a different kind of bronze on there because his face is two different colors? So why would he put that autumn sunrise on his chest and then put the cocoa cream on his face? Again, he's doing this because he sees white people getting credit. This is jealousy and envy. I see white people being spoken of in a good light, and I'm here to destroy that. Because people haven't been able to see it. You watch most movies, white people are the antagonists. When white folks are spoken about in media, television, it's always negative. They're always racist. White folks have been quiet. And let me say this too. Let me say this. Dear white people, y'all went to war over a 1% tax increase. Y'all went to war over a 1% tax increase, then turned around and gave the country to the brigands. Think about what I'm saying. Y'all started a war over a 1% tax increase, but you saw some black folks marching down the street singing, "We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday." Let me sign this bill. Let me give y'all. Y'all went to war over a 1% tax increase, but you saw some brigands crying and slinging snot, and it doesn't make sense. Y'all did it on purpose. There's no way y'all could have fought to have your own nation and then turn around and get tricked by a bunch of black folks running game on y'all. This is why I say that white people, they have a great culture, but they got major discernment blind spots. White folks have a great culture, but when it comes to discernment and wisdom, because ain't no way in the world, you see, everybody else saw them black folks and knew they was running game, but y'all saw them and y'all actually felt sorry for them. So much to the point where you actually listen to the communists. You listen to the Marxists. All under the guise of doing what's right, because you saw black folks as victims. Somebody said, you overselling the Samboism. There is nothing slower than a Negro's mind. Anything slower than a Negro's mind is not moving. There is nothing slower than a Negro's mind. Anything slower than a Negro's mind is not moving. When I tell you black folks don't know nothing, double negative. They don't know nothing. But white people have major blind spots in discernment and wisdom because there's no way that you all could fight that hard for a country just to sign it away because you thought some black folks were victims. Let me tell y'all something right now. If you think somebody's a victim or somebody tells you that they're a victim, they're going to make you sin. Listen to me. If somebody tells you they're a victim, they're going to have you sin. Because the only righteous way to deal with a victim is to tell them to have faith in God. I remember Paul Revere was writing and he was saying the British were coming. Remember that? The British were coming. I remember I did a book report in the 6th grade and I drew Paul Revere on a horse. He used to be able to draw. I drew Paul Revere on a horse and he was on a horse and I had them talking saying the British are coming. The British are coming. Right, the Minuteman. But what he should have been saying was the Niglets are coming. The Niglets are coming because that's what happened. Y'all was looking out for the British, but really it was the Niglets and the Bliggities because they're the ones that got you. The communists used the black folks to trick y'all. Communists got y'all to forfeit your country all because you thought these black people were being treated unfairly. Now you see that wasn't the case. The very people that y'all so-called freed and saved are the very people antagonizing y'all. The very people that y'all saved are the very ones that hate y'all guts.
So right now they're on a high horse. Right now they got their chest up, their head held high, like there's some spiritual Christian awakening that's going on right now. And Negroes is falling for it too. Don't get me wrong. Negroes is falling asleep with it too. But this is for them. This is for Albert Pike to do exactly he said it was going to happen, where anybody disillusioned with Christianity will fall right into the Luciferian doctrine, right into the beast system. When they find out they aren't getting raptured September 23rd, whether it be September 23rd, 2024, 2025, 2026, 2027, it don't matter. They know that one day it will all be turned over and you would see that entire doctrine of Christianity was false and you want to be riding high this Charlie Kirk parade right into it, right into the Antichrist, right into the beast system, and then you're trapped with the mark in your head or the mark on your hand. This is all a setup, which is hilarious to me. The people who say they read the Bible don't actually read the Bible to come out of this world, because Paul talked at length about not being fooled by philosophy and vain deceit, not being fooled by dogma, doctrine, and traditions of this world. Yet people pick sides, whether it be the left or the right, and fall right into the Antichrist while worshiping and praising Jesus Christ at the top of their lungs. This is a joke.
When I tell you he is pissed, he is pissed. Y'all giving this dude Charlie Kirk, he can't stand Charlie Kirk. One thing I know that black men hate a confident white man. Boy, they can't stand a confident white man. Oof. That is the number one Achilles heel of black men. A confident white man, they can't stand him. They cannot stand him. They can't stand him. But let's continue. the victim or the villain.
Hey, here come the man. Here come the man.
Just be quiet.
Oh, here he comes.
Oh my God.
I'm so sorry. I got a tow truck coming. I ran hot.
Oh, really?
And I can't, it won't.
So Blanche, do you agree with Charlie Kirk when he said the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was a mistake? Of course I do. Of course I do. I agree with Chad O. Jackson. It was a way to expand the federal government. The Civil Rights Act from 1964, what's been the end result? More government power. Now, something that what black people, quote unquote, marched and fought for, now who benefits from it? Everybody else. Civil Rights Act was a joke. You got human rights, you got civil rights. Somebody come to you and say, we're going to give you access to our society, but just with us. So in other words, y'all going to the same water fountain. Do you think that black people, when nobody was around, they wasn't going to the white restroom? Hold up, forget that. Let me ask y'all a question. Why don't you all ever see any memorabilia of whites only, colors only? I've never gone into an antique store and seen any memorabilia of whites only and colored only. I've never seen any signage. I've never seen anything that said whites only, colors only. I've never seen it. Where's all of it? If it was so prevalent, there should be signs everywhere. There should be hundreds of thousands of signs. If you are telling me that everywhere in the South was segregated, then we should have hundreds of thousands of signs that say whites only, colors only. But guess what? We don't have any. I've never seen one. I've never seen one. Tierra said, my grandma did. She drank from the whites only fountain in Texas. Who has the time to enforce who going to this bathroom, who going to this water fountain? Who has the time to even do it? Imagine me fixing a car. I'm under the car like this, and I look out and see, get away from that fountain, nigga. Nobody doing that. Ain't nobody doing that. It's too much stuff going on to be worried about who going into this bathroom, who drinking out of this water fountain. And again, you don't find any memorabilia of whites only and colors only. Them signs should be everywhere. Now, it's funny that we find license plates. We see license plates from that time period. We see dishes, cups, we see cars, we see everything from that time period except colors only and whites only. No, you're right, Beauty for Ashes. No, you're right. He said it should be a one-page document only regarding racial equality. Yes, he did. Yes, that's what he said. That is, you are correct. He was against it being co-opted to allow men to play women's sports. Yes, he was. Yes, that is what he said. That is what he said. Thank you, Beauty for Ashes. Thank you. That is what he said. Thank you. But let's continue. Are you going to be the victim or are you going to be the villain?
Gabe, here come the man.
Oh my God, I'm praying.
Here come the man.
Just be quiet.
Oh, here he comes.
Oh my God.
Y'all asking some good questions. You don't think whites were helping blacks build? Of course. Listen, man, there's no way to coexist in a society and not have mutual respect. You don't hear about all of this violence between whites and blacks. You don't. They try to fabricate it by saying the lynchings and the sundown town. No. You have to have some kind of civility with each other to coexist in a society. So, of course, whites were helping blacks. And guess what? Blacks were helping whites. Like, this is what happens in society. The media and propaganda made us believe that it isn't the case. But come on, you cannot peacefully coexist in society without getting along somehow. Okay, let's continue.
Gabe, here come the man.
Oh my God, I'm praying.
Here come the man.
Just be quiet.
Oh, here he come.
Oh my God.
I'm so sorry. I got a tow truck coming. I ran hot.
Oh, really?
And I can't, it won't crank.
Oh, don't crank it up if it ran hot, baby.
Okay. I called the tow truck. I'm sorry about this.
You're fine.
Okay, thank you.
I can put some water in it if you...
I got these jugs. I put water in it, but it cut off. It completely cut off on its own. I might have messed it up.
I hope not, baby. Because as soon as, how far did you drive it?
I'm from North Carolina, but I was coming from Atlanta. Wow. I don't even really know where I am. But I got an iPhone, so I sent my location to a tow truck driver, and he's going to come pick me up.
And you got somebody coming to...
Yes, to pick me up, to tow the whole car.
Okay.
A tow truck driver. I don't know him. I found him on the internet, but he's going to come in.
How long, do you know how long before they'll be here?
Maybe 30 minutes.
Let me tell you, we're about to have lunch. We'll be eating lunch shortly. If while we wait on him, if we get everything set up, I'll come get you and you can have dinner. And baby, hey.
That was so sweet.
That's the way we are.
Now,
Yeah,
she's in victim mode, thinking that this white man's about to come and be racist. Keep in mind, she got a white friend that's gay, white dude that anyway, this woman has, I think she got like a little farm because she got like farm, she got a goat, she got a chicken. So she has like a little farm, but she's thinking this man is finna be racist and he's not. Invited her to lunch. Just a silly man offering to help. But when you're a victim, this is how you see the world. This is how you see the world. You see the world from a lens of everybody's picking on me. Something bad is going to happen. She done conjured up this whole scenario in her mind. Paul said, then they shot her. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. Today's title is The Victim or the Villain. Larry Johnson, victim. This lady right here, victim. It's a part 2 to this, but I can't remember how this ended, but she just was crying and slanging snot and talking about these. This white guy is not an anomaly. If you are in need anywhere in this country, especially in a rural area, I guarantee some white folks are going to stop and help you. I guarantee it. And I don't care how crazy you look, because she got on bonnets and pajamas looking crazy, they still going to stop and help you. But also, everybody in the hood won't not help you. I remember one time I was visiting my girlfriend, or we was visiting her family in LA, and we were in college, and I was driving and I bent the corner. I was coming off Slauson. I was coming off of Slauson, and I was making a left. I forgot the name of this street, but it was a Shell gas station over here by the freeway, and my car ran out of gas. And I got out the car and I got on all red. You know, I used to love red because that was the color of my neighborhood growing up, but I just had on all red, just wearing red. But I had on all red, and I'm telling you, a car full of Crips, we over in Crip neighborhood, rolling 60s, a car Crips pulled up, and my car stopped. And my girl was like, dang. I was like, God, do you know these 4 gang members, and they was gang members, got out the car and helped me push my car to the gas station. I'm talking about pulled up like I'm finna get, and they actually got out the car and helped me push my car. Matter of fact, they told me to get in the car and they pushed my car to the gas station. So I say all that to say that my friend told me today, you know, we can't judge a book by its cover, you know, because if a person wants to help, they can help. Just like a person can be used by Satan, just like anybody can be used by Satan, anybody can be used by God. But let's continue. Let's continue. Let's continue. What did I have? Let me see. Man, I got some good ones, man. I got some good ones. My boy Coach.
Yeah. Scoochie.
Charlie
Oh.
Kirk was no angel. Charlie Kirk said horrible things about black women, about black people, about George Floyd, about diversity, equity, and inclusion. He said racist, horrible things. He said sexist things about women. Because black people, if you really want to fix the problem, here's just 5 things that you should think about doing. Here's number 5. And if this doesn't apply to you, if you're not doing this, then it doesn't apply to you. I'm not talking about you. Here's number 5. Pull up your pants. Walking around with your ass and your underwear showing is not okay. In fact, it comes from prison when they take away belts from the prisoner so that they can't make a weapon. And then it evolved into which role a prisoner would have during male-on-male prison sex. The one with the really low pants is a submissive one. You get my point? Number 4 now is the N-word. By promoting the use of that word when it's not germane to the conversation, have you ever considered that you may just be perpetuating the stereotype the massa intended, acting like a nigger? Now, number 3, respect where you live. Start small by not dropping trash, littering in your own communities. I've lived in several predominantly white neighborhoods in my life. I rarely, if ever, witness people littering. I live in Harlem now. It's an historically black neighborhood. Every single day I see adults and children dropping their trash on the ground when a garbage can is just feet away. Just being honest here. Number 2, finish school. You want to break the cycle of poverty? Stop telling kids are acting white because they go to school or they speak proper English. A high school dropout makes on average $19,000 a year. A high school graduate makes $28,000 a year. A college graduate makes $51,000 a year. Over the course of a career, a college grad will make nearly $1 million more than a high school graduate. That's a lot of money. And number 1, and probably the most important, just because you can have a baby, it doesn't mean you should, especially without planning for one or getting married first. More than 72% of children in the African American community are born out of wedlock. That means absent fathers. And the studies show that lack of a male role model is an express train right to prison. And the cycle continues.
But you get into trouble with your big mouth sometimes.
I do, but if you actually look at what I say in context, it's not so far out there. People are just not used to.
Except you're a journalist. You're not a pundit. I'm just devil's advocate
here. No, that's fine. But I am. Everyone has a point of view.
So again, we know that obviously Don Lemon got the call. Somebody mentioned Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby was running around telling black folks to get their act together, and then they brought him up on charges. But the problem with Bill Cosby is that you can't point your finger at black people when you aren't being a husband to your wife. In other words, the pot can't call the kettle black. So you can't, your house can't be out of order, and then you pointing the finger at them, telling them what to do. when you're being a poor example as a husband and a father. So that's in my opinion, got Bill Cosby jammed up, because the powers that be said, how dare you speak, not you. We got something for you, boy. I said, we got something for you, boy. But you see, Don Lemon, obviously, is bought and paid for. Obviously, this right here is the real Don Lemon. This right here. But I don't know how many times you can get your anus violated before you lose your soul. So I think at this point, he just withered away. Right here, I think Don Lemon still had a soul left. He still had some lemon juice left in him, no pun intended. But now that lemon is all dried up. And Don Lemon is just a shell of himself. Let's continue.
Arguing it. Towson University's debate team wins, claiming an historic win. They are the first all-black women's team to win the Cross-Examination Debate Association's national championship. This morning, we have two of the team members here. We have Amina Ruffin and Corey Johnson, both here to talk about the major victory. Ladies, way to go. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You've made so many people proud in this area. Now we want to pick your brain a little bit as we admire your huge trophy, by the way. That's ridiculous. But I'm going to ask you first. We'll start with you, Amina. What was the topic, first of all?
The topic was restricting presidential war powers authority.
They say the nigga's always already queer. That's exactly the point. It means that the impact is not, that is an impact turn to the that it is a case turn to the affirmative, because we are saying that queer bodies are not able to survive. That it necessarily means that the body of the nigga is not able to survive.
We got the topic in about July, and we started doing our research then.
And when the nigga sees these pains and suffering, that he can only envision himself, that he does not see another nigga that he can feel sympathy for or embrace, but rather that otherness gets obliterated.
And we've been supplementing our research throughout the season.
Man-photogenic object, disfigured, lynch, and trauma enough. The insight, the trauma representation that central to the black child's devouring and identifying with the story.
I don't get it, man.
To think and act subjectively like a white man, a black man.
So where do you go from there? You know, when you start preparing for a national competition, once you know the topic, what's next?
Well, you do a lot of research.
The way that the status quo
Who were
works
they
through
debating?
whiteness allowing
Were they
forcing other
mute,
bodies
you know?
to tell narrations of whiteness and the violences that whiteness does. We say that is linked.
Now, they won because they're seen as victims. That's why they won. That's why they won. I would love to see who they went up against. I would love to see it. But you know that these people are in the audience, the judges, and they're like, how are we going to handle this? If they don't place, we're going to be racist. Imagine being a judge. Imagine being a judge and they throwing the N-word around, and you know if they don't win, you're going to be called racist. You know what kind of pressure it is to be white when you're around some What should we do? Man, just give it to them. Just give it to them. That's how we lost the country. This is how we lost America. We lost America. This is how we lost America. They let some slaves get up and debate, and they was like, how are we going to handle this one? This is how we lost America right here. Feeling sorry. Don't feel sorry for anybody. The moment you feel sorry for somebody, you are not going to do good to them. You're not. You're going to tell them what they want to hear, not what they need to hear. Let's continue.
Actually better in the 1940s. It was bad, it was evil, but what happened? Something changed.
They committed less crimes.
Maybe they were afraid. I mean, 4,000 black men, women, and children were killed in violent lynch mobs.
That's your explanation, but I guess
Racial terror permeated American culture for hundreds of years.
Black America is worse than it has been
that
in the
affected
last 80 years.
the generational psyche of an entire group of people?
No, I'm sure it did. I'm not discounting that. I'm just.
So what she's saying doesn't make any sense. So you're saying that because black people were terrified, they behaved better? What she's saying doesn't make any sense. You're telling me that black people got married more because they were afraid. Black folks were more decent because they were afraid. It don't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Look how she's talking about black people. And folks can't even see it. They were afraid. They were helpless. They were lynched. What could they do? America was like, it's just, look how they, this is why I am not black. And me saying I'm not black is going to offend most people. Because most people want to put you in a box. Most people feel comfortable with you in a box. They do. But this is why I'm not black, though. Because when you're black, you were terrorized. You were mistreated. You were lynched. You were beat. You were put in chains, ripped from your family. There's no good story. There's no story to say, okay, I made it. None, because you're still fighting for your freedom. In 2025, black people are still fighting for the right to vote. I wish I would be black. I wish I would be black. I reject black. I reject it. And Charlie Kirk is racist because he said that black folks were better off in the 40s. What he's saying is true, but he's racist for saying it. Meanwhile, she gets to say that black folks were helpless and everybody just runs with it. I refuse to be black ever again. I repent once a week for being black all the years I was black. Let's continue. Galatians 3:28. Nikki always got the scriptures. Galatians 3:28, there is neither Jew nor Greek, there is neither bond nor free, there is neither male nor female, for ye are all one in Christ Jesus. Amen. I reject it. So I will, thank you, Nikki. That will be my scripture that's my biblical scripture to go against the I'm not black. Listen, you got to listen. You got to repent for being black. You got to repent. Because when you black, you did so much, like from the way we started out eating, just the diet was trash, but they said it was soul food. They think you done psychologically brainwashed black folks to eat this poison. Talking about it's soul food, it's food for the soul. Pig feet, hog maw, hog head cheese, chitlins, fried pork chops, bacon, right. Bacon. You go to the kitchen, big things filled with grease. You done got the fish grease over here, grease from the pork, grease from the beef, grease from the chicken. Poison. You better eat that soul food. Grandma made that. I'm like, I don't like chitlins. Boy, you better eat that food. God. Man, these chitlins stink. Well, you better not say they stink. Eat these chitlins. terrorized. Growing up black, you was programmed, propagandized, and terrorized. I remember one time I got a whooping. We had went to Oakland to visit some family, and it was late at night. We was getting late at night, and you know I'm half asleep, and they cut the lights on the living room, and it's a roach walking across the wall. Now I'm just waking up. I ain't got my senses in me good. You know, I'm trying to get my bearings straight. I look up and I say, "Oh, there's a roach." Well, now they know they got roaches. It's not a secret. I'm gonna go lay down. They're gonna be all on my bag, all over. But because I said it's a roach, which is obvious all over there, because I said it, now I gotta get beat. And it was one of them beatings where you discombobulated already. So it was a free whooping for my mom. It was a free one. No resistance. It's a cold game. Let's continue.
You feeling? Nervous.
And then, just around a stone wall, Rich sees a woman and is sure.
I've already seen her. I know who she is.
He takes a moment to compose himself, then walks toward her. And here they are. They had never laid eyes on each other before.
Ciao, Sheila.
For a few seconds, they don't know what to say. They're intimate strangers.
Lee Home Nai, Toi.
He recites a sentence he has learned in Vietnamese.
Kuchi Bacha, Kuchi, Ma Toi.
Today, he says, I return the photo of you and your father, which I have kept for 33 years.
Sim Tatu, Chao Toi.
Please forgive me. Finally, it all comes pouring out. This terrible, painful release. As if right now, at this moment, she is finally able to give in to grief and cry for the father she never really knew. She clutches Rich as if he were her father himself, finally coming home from the war. Her brother tells us that both of them believe that their father's spirit lives on in Rich. They expect we'll think it's just superstition, and perhaps they say it is. But for them, today is the day their father's spirit has come back to them.
She has a new father.
The whole village has turned out to see the photo returned. Once Rich had wondered about formality, ceremony, but not now.
I told her this is the photo that I took from her father's wallet the day that I shot and killed her, and that I'm returning it.
She is 40 years old, and it's the first time she has held the photo of herself and her father in her hands. And in this moment, and during the afternoon that followed,
He died a brave man and a courageous warrior.
in the company of former enemies, Rich Luttrell felt as if his wounded soul had been stitched up and made new again.
So sorry.
At which point we could almost imagine some Hollywood director shouting, "Cut! Print!" Except, of course, life isn't quite like that. And in the chat...
Man, y'all are heartless. Y'all are heartless. I see these comments. I'll read the scripture again. I see these comments. Y'all are heartless. Galatians 3:28. There is neither Jew nor Greek. There is neither bond nor free. There is neither male nor female, for ye are all one in Christ Jesus. I thought this was good because people want closure, and I don't care what y'all say. That man going back to that woman and apologizing for killing her father, that meant something. Now, he might be a libtard. I wouldn't doubt it because he probably is liberal now. But what he did was honorable. What he did was honorable. And I think it was closure for both of them. I think he felt bad. And I don't think it's kind of like, knowing that somebody you killed has a daughter, it kind of personalizes the kill. Like, he probably killed more than that guy. I'm just saying, but it probably personalized the fact that he had a daughter. And this stuff, when you get older, you start looking over life, you start reviewing, you start thinking. I remember I had just an epiphany one time, and I just was like, and trying to get close to God. And I called up all my exes, and I was in my aunt's den in California, and I remember I just called up all my exes, and I said I was sorry. I don't know what compelled me to do it, but I said I'm sorry for doing it. I was wrong. I just called and apologized, and they were all so receptive. Some of them cried, but it's just, I don't know. It's something about Nicodemus mentioned it, repentance. Even asking for forgiveness. It's something healing about asking for forgiveness and then forgiving, because most of the time, just asking for the forgiveness to the person, it works on both sides. Just to have the respect enough to ask is and just to be humble enough to even ask. And then, it's just, I don't know. So I thought it was beautiful. And this woman, this changed her life. Not to mention, I guarantee he gonna send them some money. I guarantee he gonna take care of them. After he left, they're gonna be living good. Listen, I guarantee this man is gonna give these people some money. I guarantee. I got one more. And I'm gonna do part 2 of the victim and the villain, the victim or the villain. I'm gonna do part 2 on Thursday. I remember growing up, and I remember dogs were rarely, and maybe it's a California thing, I don't know. But I remember growing up, dogs were rarely friendly. I mean, I don't know if it's a culture thing, hood versus, I don't know, but I just remember growing up, people's dog, like, it's just, I don't know. All the dogs seem to want to kill you. You walk by a fence, they was like, it's just, I don't know. They used to have to get on their dogs to not attack you. Like when people came by people's houses and stuff. Even, dogs running around in the hood, just I don't know. I just don't, my upbringing on dogs was not pleasant. They all wanted to rip you apart. It's crazy. But let's continue. He done been traumatized. Listen, if he grew up in the hood, he done been traumatized, because that's, boy, listen. Backyard. You see that deck and that backyard? Look at that backyard. And one thing I'm going to say about white people, if white people like you, they love you. If white people like you, they love you. My whole life, that's what I've experienced. If they just like you, they're going to love you. Thank you, Cruise Missile, for the super sticker. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you, All Production, for the super sticker. Thank you so much. Thank you, All Production, again. Thank you. I'm making conservatism look cool. Great show, homie. Coming with the truth like always. Straight truth, no chaser. Thank you. My boy, making conservatism look cool. Jerome B, thank you for the super sticker. And Idris Singleton, thank you, Blanche. Needed some truth tonight. These people out here, shake my head. Thank you so much. Listen, on this channel, I really want to spread. I really want to spread love, the love of Christ, and really, hopefully, get people to come to salvation. I know how much Jesus changed my life, and I really want that for everybody else. It really changed my life in the sense that, I don't know, everything that it means to be a man or becoming a man, I realized for most of my life I wasn't a man. And I think that my faith actually shaped me being a man more. It made me really put away childish things because I felt a responsibility to spread God's word and do what's right and be an example. Because I know that one day somebody's going to be looking at me and I'm either going to make or break. They're going to see me and say, I want to get to know God or I don't. Same thing with my words. So at the end of the day, listen, I love y'all. Thank y'all so much. Hopefully my words today won't be taken the wrong way, but if they are, I'm going to tell you, grow up. But listen, I love y'all, and I will see you all on Thursday with part 2. Thank y'all so much.